Thank you, PATA Indian chapter, for inviting me back again to analyze the Indian growth potentials and also opportunities. The executives actually give me a very clear instruction in terms of what the topic should be included in the talk, and specifically requested that you should not present too many models and complex diagrams because I'm an economist. That's what we do for a living. So not presenting any models and diagrams will be challenging, but let me try. These are the topics I'm going to cover quite quickly, as some of those contents has already been talked about by previous speakers, so I will be brief on some of these areas. First, I would like to share our recent forecast, especially the forecast related to both outbound and inbound tourism to India and out of India. So in terms of the methodology, so ignore the diagram on the right. So the forecast was generated based on econometric modeling, considering the different factors that influence the demand for tourism in the destination and also from certain source market. We also combine the forecast with judgmental adjustment, because the models can predict the future accurately if things go as normal. But if not, then things may go wrong. So we need to incorporate expert opinion in generating the forecast. This is a joint project collaboration with PATA for many years. We've been doing this for over 12 years. Publishing annual forecast report. So if you are interested in the full report, you can obviously go to the PATA website and download the report. And actually, this year's report has not been announced yet. So the formal announced date will be February, mid-February. So you already have the first sight of this forecast. So first of all, let's look at the overall tourism demand within Asia Pacific. This diagram actually shows a few lines. You can see America, Asia, Pacific, and also together, which is a combination of America, Asia, and Pacific. Since 2021, all region has maintained a steady growth over the past few years. By 2025, international visitor arrivals in Asia, the Pacific, and also Americas have still not returned to pre-COVID level, i.e. by the end of 2025, it is still less than the arrivals compared with 2019. Asia remains the largest market according to accounting for approximately 74% of the total Asia Pacific market. So Asia is a big destination. In terms of South Asia tourism recovery, so this is related to India. So by 2025, the historical forecast shows, the historical data shows that actually South Asia account for approximately 2.5% of tourist market in Asia. Actually, the factors that influence the tourism demand in this particular region is related to limited air connection and also underdeveloped tourism infrastructure, which has already mentioned earlier, and also the demand primarily driven by non-leisure travel, lower income level, and also a weaker travel propensity, and also limited integration into regional tourism circuits. This actually restricted the fast growth of tourism demand within this particular region. In terms of India outbound, this diagram shows by 2028 there will be 12.8 million Indians travel abroad. So you can see the drivers of the demand actually are mainly related to regional and short distance passenger traffic, and also family visit, religious tourism, and also business travel. And also enhanced promotion and raising international visibility. So those are the factors actually drive inbound tourism, not outbound, inbound tourism. So that you can see by 2028, the recovery will be 117% compared with pre-COVID level. So the main India source market are listed on this diagram. As you can see, majority or large proportion of inbound tourist arrivals actually are from Bangladesh, followed by US, UK, Australia, Canada, and China. China actually pre-COVID-19, the level of tourist travel to India is quite large, but then things happened. In the future, according to our forecast, there will still be constraints in terms of tourist arrivals from India, which are mainly related to visa suspension, and also slow outbound recovery of China tourism. So we know the Chinese economy is suffering economically in terms of slow growth, which actually will serve as constraints of Chinese tourists travel internationally, of course, travel to India as well. And also there's a limited air capacity and few direct flights between India and China, which also prevent a growth of Chinese tourists travel to India. And also India facing a strong competition from other countries, especially the neighbors of Chinese tourists, which include Japan, Korea, Thailand, Malaysia, and so on and so forth. So these are the competition India will face. So according to our forecast, by 2028, China tourists will not return to pre-COVID level. Still very low in terms of percentage in the total arrival, international arrival to India. This may happen, will depend on the relationship between the two countries and also visa facilitation and also air connection in the future. If this changed, the number will increase. So the demand is there, but there are some constraints. So in terms of India outbound market will generally be stable throughout the forecasting period from 2024 to 2028. Actually, you can see from this table, the most popular destination for Indian tourists actually are Thailand, followed by US and also Singapore in 2029, ranked number 1, number 2, and number 3 respectively. But this order has changed in 2024. So Thailand actually dropped one place, where the US increased one place, and Singapore still remain number 3. And also Sri Lanka is predicted to become more popular, with its ranking reaching from number 2 places between 2019 and 2028. So there's some ranking changes. But China, as you can see, dropped to 12 and 13 places in the future, especially in 2028, It is actually lagging behind, where pre-COVID-19, China was ranked number 4 for Indian outbound tourists. Because these are the forecasts of tourist arrivals within Asia Pacific, especially related to India. Now let's look at the strengths and opportunities for India tourism. First, India now is number 4 a global economy according to nominal GDP value, and also world most popular nation. This is an engine for human capital, right? So there's a lot of Indian citizens traveling internationally for employment purpose. So it is engine of human capital. And also pivotal strategy player. So India actually is one of the important members for G20 and BRICS. All these actually are factors that will promote or encourage India's tourism growth in the future. So India's role in tourism directly reflects its expanding global influence, not only economically, but also geopolitically. So it will become a regional player in the past to a global shaper of the future, so in terms of tourism demand. So these are, I think, the strengths of Indians' tourism development in the future. I was also asked to compare Indians' tourism with other countries or other regions. One of the regions you may be interested is the Gulf Cooperation Council countries, which include a number of Middle East countries. So I will compare from the driver and also behavior and also market perspective. So basically, India is largely it's a large population base and expanding middle class with growth driven by continuous stream of first-time travelers, especially travel internationally, right? These are the Indians' tourism driver, especially outbound tourism. And also consumer behavior, high sensitivity to price, visa policies, and also flight availability, and especially the Indian tourists tend to stay in mid-range hotels and also travel with package arrangement. And also the market logic is preliminarily determined future visit volume, i.e. India would generate huge volume, especially outbound travel in the future. A market characterized by increasing penetration of Indian tourists. Right? You will see more and more Indian tourists traveling different parts of the world. Well, the GCC countries, the driver basically is related to higher per capita income with growth driven by greater travel frequency and higher spending from already saturated base, i.e. these countries' tourists is already on a relative higher base in terms of their income level and also their expenditure. And their behavior, tourists from these countries have a strong preference for luxury hotels, high-end retail, and premium experience, and less price sensitive. So this actually is their tourist behavior. Their market logic is that shapes the future of quality of tourism revenue and also a market focus on value extraction. So these are some of the comparison. I think this comparison is only relevant now. This may change in the future when Indians' international tourism further develop. Now let's look at comparison with Southeast Asia, especially from the growth perspective. India growth is driven by new travelers, which we already mentioned earlier, Well, Southeast Asia growth is driven by existing travelers increasing travel frequency. So this is a different characteristics. And also, India's potential outbound population exceeded that of any single Southeast Asia country. Or Southeast Asia countries, they're probably medium scale, more mature emerging market. So they are a little bit more mature, where India is towards a stage-like jump growth driven by increases in passport penetration and the visa facilitation. So these actually are the things that may influence India's international travel. And also Southeast Asia, a more continuous and predictable growth trajectory. So this is actually, in terms of growth, is quite stable compared with India tourism. India tourism may actually have significant growth or up and downs in the future, depend on how the economic and geopolitics will play out. Right, so in terms of Indian market performance, this is another area I was asked to talk about, to look at the performance of India's tourism market. So first, let's look at the strengths. So we already mentioned the strengths earlier, so I'm not going to repeat again. In terms of the depths of product offering, so which also mentioned by Noor and also the previous speakers. So India actually have a very strong heritage and cultural portfolio, which are the main attractors to international tourism, and also provide a diverse experience mix. So now actually tourism become more and more experience-driven. Actually, Indian tourism offer more diverse experience mix to international tourism. And also, India is a resilient destination. And also, one of the characteristics of Indian tourism is related mainly to business travel and MICE. So actually, the sustained cooperative travel demand has been very strong for India, and also very strong in MICE industry, and also higher value business segment. This is good because those tourism segment do not easily affected by economics, such as the economic conditions, prices, and so on and so forth, right? So these actually are quite it's good for India tourism development. But at the same time, there's a lack of balance, which I will mention here. One, the first thing that India may actually consider to improve in the future is to adjust this balance. Now, the functional travel to India is very strong, i.e. business travel, where leisure demand is weak, right? So there's a lack of balance between these two broader segments of tourism demand. The second area that India could consider is that the connectivity, right? So which has already mentioned earlier, especially the air connectivities to different source market, major source market, which is still relatively weak compared with the demand of international travel to India and India tourism travel internationally, right? And third is the limited global network integration. By global network integration is the supply chain integration in tourism industry. So there's still some area that India can, improve in this area. Okay, so these are the three areas. It's not a limitation, but I will say it is opportunities for India to improve in the future. All right, so next topic I would like to cover is the travel behavior and expectations, especially related to, what are the motivations for international tourists travel to India? Because that is important. Knowing the motivations, then you can work around those motivations with a view to attracting international tourists, right? So this actually is a new task I was given. So we have to do a research using big data and also the tourist reviews, especially the tourists who already visited India and they will put their experience on the internet, review their experience. So we actually look at 1.7 million tourist reviews posted on TripAdvisor. Of course, many of these reviews were posted by Indian domestic tourists. But at the same time, we also collected international tourist reviews of their experience when they visited India. In total, we actually collected 600,000 reviews, especially international reviews, right? International tourist reviews. We identify international tourists by their profile in their TripAdvisor account. So these are actually the method we use. We're using large language models. I'm not going to discuss details in terms of how we analyze the data, but rather to present the result to you. So in terms of the most popular cities, according to international tourists, especially according to the international tourist reviews, as you can see, these are, if the dot is bigger, which means more popular, when dot is lighter, is less popular. So through our analysis, perhaps this is no surprise to you, that the most popular destination for international tourists are New Delhi, Jaipur, Agra, Mumbai, and Amman. So these are the most popular destinations for international tourists. Perhaps this is already well known according to official statistics in India. But remember, this analysis is analyzed based on international reviews posted on TripAdvisor. Okay, so in terms of where the tourists go when they visit those destinations, actually I do not know the details of these attractions within these 5 most popular destinations in India. And these are the most popular attractions within each of these 5 destinations in India. I listed here. Probably you will recognize them quite easily. I must say, I have not been to those destinations myself, apart from New Delhi. So I was in New Delhi last year for the previous Powerhouse, and this is my second time. I need to use my limited time to visit at least some of these destinations this time. Right, and also we also using those reviews, we also analyze what are the things the tourists will be looking for, i.e. what are the important things they were looking for when they visit India. After they visit the destination, how they are satisfied with those destination attributes or a tourist attribute, which include history, culture, shopping, wildlife, religion, and also food and nature and wellness, right? So this table actually have 2 columns with numbers. The first one is tourist sentiment, where the sentiment score range from 0 to 1. Well, the second column represents the importance valued by tourists. As you can see, the figures are ranging from 0.1 to 0.9. By 0.9 means the tourists actually put history, India history, in the most prominent places as a reason to visit India, right? So 0.0, which is close to 1. And to some of the areas like culture, I initially assume the tourists will also put a very high importance as a factor that attract them to India. But actually the importance is 0.1, which is relatively low, but sometimes it's difficult to separate history and culture. There may be some refined work that we can do in the future. But on the left-hand side column, you can see after they visit the destination, their level of satisfaction, sentiment, some of the attribute actually the tourists are very happy about, such as history, culture, and shopping, right? So shopping is something the tourists enjoy doing when they visit India. And also religion, spirituality, tourism, and food, nature, and so on and so forth. So these actually are two aspects of evaluating your performance, right? From one hand, what are the things that attract tourists to India, and how the tourists actually are happy or satisfied with those services when they visit India. Actually, this diagram is a little bit complicated, but you're looking at four quadrants, also contain the same attractors of India. So ideally, the attribute should be located on quadrant 1, Q1, which will represent higher satisfaction level and also higher importance. Actually, 4 of the attributes did fall within this quadrant, which is history, food, and shopping. These are your strengths, absolutely strengths, both in terms of importance and also in terms of satisfaction of tourists. Well, the wellness and wildlife actually fall quadrant number 3, which means they have less importance, but also lower satisfaction level, right? So in the future, probably you will wish to improve all those attributes and move them into quadrant 1, which will probably represent a superb destination for international tourists to visit. So in particular, in some of the areas which fall behind, like wellness and wildlife. So in terms of the dynamic change, probably I will just go flip through this, because this is a dynamic change of those all these attributes in terms of their importance and also satisfaction level of tourists. They are vary over time, but not a great deal. So I just flip this through. And also this diagram suggesting where you can improve. Actually, although pre-COVID-19, some of the areas in terms of performance and importance, they are very high. For example, food. If you look at the red dot, which is food, and the arrow representing where you are moving to, the 3 dots representing 3 different periods: before COVID, and during COVID, and post-COVID, right? So you can see food, the importance has been increased, i.e. the tourists view food in India as a very important attribute, while the satisfaction level actually dropped, right? So dropped to quadrant 2. So that's something after COVID, in terms of food has dropped their experience. And the things that have been improving, including religions and the spirituality tourism, and also shopping. Shopping keep improving, both in terms of importance and satisfaction. So I didn't know India is shopping destination. So probably I should actually buy something on this trip back to Hong Kong. I thought Hong Kong is shopping paradise, but India actually is catching up in this aspect. So I was also asked to analyze what are the motivations for tourists to visit India. We use actually also big data through these 600,000 reviews. We analyze the reviews using a large language model and come up with we call the word cloud, which with large words representing the important factors that attract tourists into India, which include culture, heritage, spiritual and religious tourism, nature and wildlife experience, leisure, relaxation, wellness, food, shopping, lifestyle, family, safety, convenience, and so on and so forth. Actually, so those are the things attract international tourism to the destination. And I was also asked to comment on the safety issue in India. So in analyzing the safety issues which may affect international tourists travel to India or their experience in India, we use the same data set to analyze the cases and instances occurred for tourists when they visit India. So we come up with safety scores. So the safety scores basically ranging from 0 to 1, 1 being the safest and 0 being the most dangerous destination in terms of safety is concerned. But there's no dangerous destinations in India. As you can see, most of the safety scores for major destinations are actually above 0. I think the last is 0.8, which means actually the safety record of India as a destination has been pretty good. But of course, there are areas which has done the best. For example, I listed a few destinations in red here, which are the safest destinations in India. You notice those safest destinations are not the most popular destinations, right? So, so this actually is something that you may find interesting in terms of safety and their influence on destinations. And in terms of New Delhi, Agra, and Jaipur have very high safety scores, but Amar, Mumbai, and Jaisalmer has relatively low. These are the popular destinations, right? So these are there's some room for improvement for these destinations. Okay, so in terms of competitiveness, Noor actually previously compared India's competitiveness with Thailand. Actually, I also compared the competitiveness between India and Thailand because these two destinations offer similar attractiveness or similar attractions to international tourism. Actually, we divide them into history, culture, shopping, food, nature, wellness, performing art, and so on and so forth. Actually, India is represented by the blue line, where Thailand is represented by the black line. We're using a spider diagram to represent the strengths. Actually, in terms of shopping, India performed equally well as Thailand, but in terms of history, so somehow Thailand outperformed India, but India did well in food and religious and spiritual tourism. So these are the strengths that India over Thailand. Of course, there are areas that India fall behind Thailand, but that's something that you may consider to improve to increase your competitiveness. If your competitiveness increases, then you'll draw tourism to India, especially those who visit Thailand. If India improve in these areas, and they actually may come to India. So this is something that India can work on. And this diagram is dynamic changes of this competitiveness India, again, doing well in certain areas, but not well in other areas. So I'm not going to elaborate further. And I also ask, because India appears to be an important shopping destination, so I was also asked to comment on the behavior of retail tourists. So for this, actually, we did joint research with WTTC last year. We did a global retail tourism survey, and then we analyzed the data and wrote a report, which actually is already been published. So if you want to know the details of this report, you can go to WTTC to download the report. It's free, actually. And you can find out what is the methodology and what are the data being collected, and so on and so forth. But I only very briefly mention in this presentation what are the segments of international tourists in terms of shopping when they go on holiday. So we actually divide them into 3 distinctive groups. So I will present those 3 distinctive groups, because in recognizing those distinctive groups, you will be able to design your product and services accordingly, according to where those tourists are coming from, right? So these are, in terms of first group, we call it gourmet seekers, i.e. when they travel internationally, they probably buy wines, liquor, cheese, sausages, chocolate, and so on and so forth, mostly perhaps through the duty-free shops, or they may also buy from other shops as well. So with this group, tourists, we call them gourmet seekers, right? So basically, gourmet seekers show highest expenditure on food products, suggesting a preference for gourmet experience, where those tourism are coming from. And this cluster mostly include tourists from Australia, Canada, France, Netherlands, Singapore, Chinese Taipei, United Kingdom, and the United States. Most tourists are from developed countries, right? So these also include Chinese Taipei, but most of the source market are developed European, North American countries. So they are actually interested in food products. The second cluster, which may also related to India retail shop development or shopping destination development, is called aspirational shoppers. By aspirational shoppers, we mean the tourists spend relatively high percentage of their expenses on cosmetic and electronics, right? When tourists travel to destinations, if they go shopping, what they buy mostly cosmetics and electronic products. So where those tourists are coming from? They are mostly coming from Argentina, Brazil, Germany. Actually, surprisingly, fall within this group. I always thought they should fall in the first group. And also Saudi, Spain, and the United Arab Emirates. So these are the main source market, which will pay a lot of money on cosmetics and electronic products. A third group, which is we call it fashionistas. Right? I don't know whether English words exist or not, but we call it fashionistas, which means when they travel to different destinations, they prioritize their expenditure on garment, jewelry, and leather products like bags, handbags, and so on. So tourists in this cluster are mostly from the Chinese mainland. So in the future, if Chinese tourists will become main source market, and they will be more interested in buying jewelries and leather and garments, right? So these are their major interests. And also tourism from Hong Kong. I'm from Hong Kong, so I can testify. These are the things normally Hong Kong people will buy when they travel internationally. India tourists also buy these things when they travel internationally, right? Italy, Mexico, Romania, South Africa, South Korea, and Switzerland. So these are another very distinctive group. So this survey actually is a very large survey, cover most of the source market in the world. So this is the major research findings that we came up at that report. But if you want to know further details, you can download the report yourself and have a look. So in summary, in terms of India's output, Indian tourism outlook, and also there may be some strategic implications. All this point has already been covered in the presentation and also by previous speakers. So we all know the strengths of India is first is expanding travel base and increasing middle class. So that's something certainly will generate a lot of demand, right? Especially international demand. In Hong Kong, I can testify that in the last couple of years, we have seen more and more Indian tourists. So that's a very good sign to us. And being a retail destination, we call it retail paradise, we welcome tourism from India because they spend more when they travel to Hong Kong. And also you have a deep heritage and cultural portfolio, which is another very important, unique attribute, attraction to international tourism. And also strong mines and business sector, so which also attract business travel. And this segment are quite resilient. They are not normally influenced by economic conditions and also prices and costs and so on and so forth. Because if you're doing business in India, you have to come to India, right? So they are less influenced by the volatility of the market. And also you have very stable outbound market structure and also multiple motivations, drivers, especially I presented those things that India are unique, which attract international tourism, cultural, religious tourism, leisure, lifestyle, and adventures, and so on and so forth. The things that you may consider to improve is infrastructure, connectivity, and also China market, attracting tourists from China, and also maybe a little bit balance between functional and leisure products, because that actually make your tourism balanced and healthy, right? And also, especially the cultural history attribute will attract more tourists in this particular segment. And also, there's some decline in sentiment in certain areas, which probably is only temporary because the data we collected only cover 6 or 7 years, a little bit before COVID and a little bit after COVID. So things may change in the future. And also safety perceptions impact traveler choice, but in terms of safety, only certain areas there are issues, but most of the destinations you do not have a safety issue. I think that with that, India indeed represent a very important opportunity internationally, not only for outbound Indian tourism, but also inbound international tourism to India. Thank you very much.